All right, good morning, guys. So today we are beginning our course with the AWS Cloud Practitioner, uh, starting today, and then I want to ensure that everybody has registered to the class and you have your Skillbuilder account configured. So this is what we'll be looking at today, and ensuring that we start properly with everybody. So for some reason, I don't have the link to this live to share with other people, so I don't know how to do that now, but I think I'll be able to do that soon. Okay, okay. Just Van Patrick, please, can you share this live with me in my inbox? Like, share the link with me in my inbox. I don't know. I cannot get it from my phone, but I need to share it somewhere else. I don't know if you can help me do that. Just on my inbox, you can share with me the screen, the live. Guys, can you share your screen? Patrick, please, I'm still waiting for your response for you to share the link with me in my inbox since we're already chatting. I don't know how I can do so because I want to share it to a group of people as well. So, all right. Okay, I get it now. All right, thank you very much, Lugra. Thank you. I appreciate. Okay, perfect, perfect. Guys, you can tap your screen, please. Okay, let's begin. Let's give a minute for if you are part of my students and you registered already with me, fill in the form. Can you just please indicate in the chat so that I can see you? I wish that all the students should be here, those that have filled the form, because remember we said we're going to do follow up for everybody. So I expect that all the students should be here on this live before we are continuing to ensure that everybody is on point. So we shared the AWS form for those that want to participate, and it was no, that is too bright. We decided that those that are part of the class will have to fill the form and be able to follow them up as we are learning and moving forward. So I'll just go to my list to ensure that everybody is here like that. Because that was the goal. Our goal was to ensure that we have everybody available for us so that we can be able to, to follow everybody up. Okay. Some are present. Okay, welcome, Sam. That's great. I like the fact that you're present. Okay, let me follow from this side. Yes. This is better here. You can close this one. Good day, Fun Fusion. All right, so I've not seen Lovett. I've not seen Anita. I have Donhill Gwami. So if you're here, I'm calling the names directly. So if you're here, I should be able to. You should be able to indicate. Samuel is here. I've not seen Raphael. I've not seen Frederick. You're here. That's Fun Fusion, yes. I've not seen Faith. Uh, okay, Don Hill is here as well. Zachary, I've not seen Zachary. Chidi, I've not seen Junior. I've not seen Minchutri, Masango, Mukete, Frederick, Ashu, Ernest, Mensa, Ngungang, and Nwondo. So if you're here, you're supposed to indicate so that I know that you're here. So that was the goal of filling the form because I will literally need to have this, and it literally need to be sure that you are actually there and moving forward like that. Okay, so today we're beginning with the cloud computing class, AWS Cloud Certification Program. Actually, it's not a class because I expect that everybody must have gone through. If you follow the video, you should be able to go through module one and module two. So today we are just looking at going over what you discussed, what you have, and then probably ask questions. Okay, Musago Mukete is somewhere present. Okay, great. Okay, I can see. All right, Chichi is here. So, okay, great. That's great. Queen of Allen, welcome. Okay, that's great. At least thank you for turning up. Um, are you guys in the WhatsApp group? Okay, so we're going to begin. I'll log into my account. I hope I do not traduce an anglais, to this. Okay, create and connect. Right. Let me put English. So it's Vista Cloud 05 at gmail.com. No, now I have to change this to English so that it's better for me. Right. Okay. All right. At gmail.com. Perfect. Okay. I guess you guys can see my screen pretty well. Okay. Code de verification. Mm. All right. So this is the dashboard, and normally, if you had followed my last video, if you enroll in the skill builder, you should be able to see the class, the course here. So this is what we are looking at, the AWS Cloud Practitioner certification, like we said. So now, why are we doing this again? So for those that are joining, we are having this uh, new class or this program to be able to train people who want to transition to tech. So the goal is to have as many people have the foundational knowledge as possible. So that is why we're having this special class, I would say special class, to be able to follow along. So to have the course material, you're supposed to go to AWS Cloud Skillbuilder. So if you go to my profile, you're going to see a video where I showed you how to create your Skillbuilder account so that it will bring you to this platform. So this is a platform. This platform is owned by AWS, and it gives all the materials that you require to be able to be able to to prepare. So our goal today is to have the discussion. Actually, it's a discussion because you've actually been going through the modules. So we're having that discussions and actually clear your doubts as far as questions are concerned. Right. Because at the beginning, during the holiday, the Easter holiday, we had a the Easter holiday classes where we actually did some of the introduction to cloud computing. We actually had the first class, what is cloud computing, the advantages of cloud computing, and all of that. We had an introduction to AWS, and then we looked at the global infrastructure, right? So if you notice that when you started following this particular course, those what we did before is still actually uh, explained again in the video. Like still bringing you back to that particular to that particular introduction that we did while we are doing the introduction to cloud computing. So I'm now really um, happy that some of you have actually taken the steps, that some of you have actually taken the steps to enroll in the platform and joining me so that we can have this up and running like that. So I also apologize for the late start today. It was just a matter of figuring out how to do one or two things as far as setting this TikTok live is concerned. So I already started the training. So if you start the training, each time you come, you're already going to see resume training. So this is what we are looking at as our course material, right? So we have like introduction, uh, the cloud essentials. So you're going to go through the course overview. So this is a 10 module course to be your knowledge about AWS cloud concepts, services, security, and architecture. Right, like I said, this is the fundamental, right? So it's that very beginning, that very basic. So with that, if you have this fundamental knowledge, at least you have the you have enough materials to guide you in which direction you want to go to as far as moving to your next journey in the cloud. Why am I doing this? Because a lot of people transition to the cloud, which is okay, but at the advanced transitioning, like doing DevOps, doing the pure cloud engineering program or whatsoever, at some point, some people get stuck because of the fact that they didn't really have the foundational knowledge. Um, and so they were like introduced to a lot of concept. Hi, Kobe. They introduced to a lot of concepts that were maybe overwhelming. That's the term. So the concept was overwhelming. So that is why I was like, okay, if you want to transition to tech, which is the next big thing, why don't we take a step back and then go back to the foundational level to ensure that everybody is on the same footing before you're going to the advanced so that when they're introducing concepts to you, you already understand these concepts and then you can move forward like that. So that is the goal. And this course is entirely free. Also, my Primus Learning, you are not paying me anything. My only goal is that you should be able to do your registration for the certification so that it enables you to be on track to be able to follow this course to the end. You already have the materials, but now you need the concept, you need that follow up. So by registering to the course now, you are going to have the zeal to want to finish through. Now, AWS Cloud Practitioner, I think the registration is $100. Let's see, it's 150 Cloud Practitioner. So AWS. Okay, no, AWS. Let me put AWS here. AWS Cloud Practitioner course. All right. So you see, it costs $100, right? So the AWS Cloud Practitioners cost $100. You see, the level is foundational level. Then you have exam format is all multiple choice, right? And the duration is 90 minutes, that's 1 hour, 30 minutes. And then you have the cost, which is $100. So you see, it's a foundational cost to actually introduce you to AWS like that. So if you go to the official page, you see the exam cost is $100. So if you're in Cameroon, $100 is like 60,000. If you're in Dubai, $100 should be something like 350 dirhams. If you're in Europe, $100 is, or you're going to pay 100 euros. If you're in the US, $100 is $100, right? So all of that, it's just as a way to enable you to get up to speed. All right. So we'll begin with module one. We have module one, which is the client side model, client server model, right? Who is the client, who is the server. So this module one is talking about client server model. Now, before we are talking about this, the client server model is just to understand how the generally computer works, right? When you talk about client server architecture, who is the client, who is the server, what is the server, what is the client, and how you how it's all about, right? So if I want to put this in a very simple term, when I talk about client-server architecture, generally it's a computer term. It's not only about cloud computing, but AWS mostly, or when you're dealing with the cloud, it's about the client-server architecture, right? And so when we talk about client-server architecture, I look at the concept of a restaurant. I like to eat, so I look at the concept of a restaurant. Now, when you go to a restaurant to go and buy food. Say KFC. I love KFC for when I was in Dubai. Um, if you're going to KFC or any restaurant of your choice, Mami Put, Achombo, any restaurant. Now, what is the concept when you go to a restaurant? How does it work? If you go to a restaurant, you is going to buy in a restaurant, right? You are a client or a customer. Now, when you go and sit in a restaurant or in a bar where they serve beer, now what happens is you see the menu of what is in that particular restaurant. You make a request, right? You want to buy, if you want to buy, say KLC, if you want to buy a bottle of beer or whatever, you make a request by placing your order. So that is a request. You send a request, you make your order. Now, once the order is received, it's been prepared. Either the beer is taken from the fridge or from the counter, the food is prepared in the kitchen, and it's been served to you, right? So the food is given back to you by a waiter. So waiter comes now with your food and serve you. Now, at some point, there has to be maybe an exchange of money because you're ordering based on the price and all of that. So that aspect of client server is the same when it comes to computing. Now, you being okay. So it's the same concept when it comes to computing. Now, generally, when you are connected to the internet, you on your computer, like now, you're a client, right? And each time you want to open something, you want to search, you want to anything you do, the moment you press enter, you're making a request, just like you're ordering. So now, if I want to go to any domain, say I want to go to AWS website, say AWS, or I want to search anything, let's say Liverpool or Arsenal, yeah, Liverpool FC. Now you see here, it's just here Liverpool FC, right? Now I am looking at the menu. This is me looking at the menu. Now, Liverpool FC. I've seen the menu. I'm on the internet. I'm in the restaurant with the menu because the internet is a very big and large restaurant, right? So I've seen the menu and I want to order. So I've put Liverpool FC. I want to order Liverpool FC. So I want to request. So the moment I press enter on my keyboard, I'm sending a request to the restaurant. And so I'm sending a request to the server. So the server is where the information is stored, right? So like Google or whatever it is, that is the server. So the moment I send a request, the server will receive the request, process the information, and send back the results to my screen, which is this browser. So if I press enter here, you see it has gone, pull the results, and then send it back to me. Now I can see Liverpool FC generally. So that is how it works. So for everything you type on the internet and you press enter, you are sending a request. So you who is making that request, that is the client. Your computer connected to the internet is the client. So for every yes, that's quite a fast one. Yeah. So for every request that you're making, you get a reply. Now, if there are times that you go to the internet and then you make a request for a particular information and then they tell you that server not found, right? Or information not found, which means that you've ordered something that is not yet available or is not there in that particular restaurant. Just take, for example, you go to a KFC restaurant and they go and order um, fufu and hero in a KFC restaurant. What happens? That doesn't make sense, right? If they're going to tell you that it's not available. So that is the same way computers work when you connect to the internet. So that is a client server architecture. So a server is simply a computer that holds information which serves this information based upon request, like that. So generally, everything you access on the internet, you're accessing from another computer. So you're making a request over the internet, and then it's sending a request to a particular server which you don't see, and then that information is served back to you through your browser. So that is what we call a client-server architecture. So the computer that is making the request is the client, and then the computer that received the request, process it, and send back the results is called um, the server. And so that communication is called the client server communication, like that. So that is just what it means. So now, why is it important when it comes to cloud computing? Because while you're dealing with cloud computing, like we talked the last time, cloud computing is simply accessing compute resources over the internet, right? So which means that for every resource that you're going to be accessing, type in AWS, even this course, we've actually, it's going to, we're making a request and then we're taking back the information. So for everything you do on the internet, it follows this concept of client server architecture, like that. So a server is simply that computer that we don't see on the internet because different companies have different computers. So for every company, Amazon.com, Google, all of those are compute. There are different servers or different companies with their own servers that have their specific information like that. Now you see this particular server here is Bing.com. So this information is coming from Bing.com, not from Google, right? Because you're using Bing. So Bing has served us these results generally. And now if you want to continue, this is Liverpool's own server. So if I want to go to Liverpool homepage, you see now that I made a request to Liverpool, and now I've gotten to Liverpool's own homepage like that. So that is how everything works generally, and this is the concept of client-server architecture like that. So I don't know if that part is understood. So if it's understood, give me one, put one in the chat so we know that we are moving on the same direction. So that is just it. So if you see here, in cloud computing, a client is a web browser or a desktop application that a person interacts with to make requests to a computer server. So a server can be, they call it Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, which is EC2, a type of virtual server, right? So with that now, EC2 is a type of server, which is a virtual computer, which I'm going to look at that. Yes, Dohi, you have a question. So if you see here, for example, uh, players make a request to a news article or it's called online game, a funny video, the server evaluates the request and fulfill by returning their information. So that is just what we've tried and done here by a practice, so they understand the concept of client server architecture like that. Don't hear you have a question. Is it, hold on, let me see if I can. What is this? Okay. Don't hear what is it. Okay, Dolly, brief. You can come on and ask a question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Baba, for this amazing course. I'm following it with my notes. I hope you can hear me before I ask a
Yes, I can hear
question.
you
I hope you all
perfectly.
can hear. All right, perfect. So, you're talking about talking about servers,
Yeah.
and one thing that I know, the way I study, I learn through curiosity. I
Mm.
ask questions, and when I get curious, my interest also gets heightened.
Yes.
So in AWS, right, you're talking about servers.
Yeah.
Those responsible to maintain those servers, like are they the technicians that are responsible to maintain servers, be it physical servers or cloud servers?
Mm.
Which, how do we call these technicians? Is
No,
there
listen.
particular maybe a field where people are maintaining servers?
Those will be data center engineers, right? Because
Again,
um,
please, I didn't hear you.
that will be data center engineers. Can you hear me?
Data center engineer, is that what you
Yeah.
said?
Yeah, because what is a data center? Let me just show you that real quick. Now, a data center is actually a building that has multiple servers, right? Let me go to picture so that we'll see it from a picture perspective. Now, a data center is simply a room. I think in films you must have seen rooms like this, right? Where you have computers or you have like racks, they call it racks, where we have multiple servers, right? A server is a special type of computer that is used to hold information, right? So now these data centers have multiple servers, physical servers that are connected together to hold information to be able to serve based on request. So depending on your company size and the amount of information that you hold, then that determines your data center. So now, those that are maintaining these data centers will be data centers engineers, right? Will be physical IT technicians that are actually there maintaining the physical servers like that. So you and I, in this case, we are working with the cloud computing. We are accessing these servers from the internet, but we are doing it virtually. You get the point. Virtually means that just over the internet, we cannot see or touch it. But those that are maintaining it are actually seeing it and touching it. So those are the data center engineers that are actually working on it. Now, there are companies who have their data centers, like banks, hospitals, military, government institutions. They have their own data centers. So they don't rely on cloud computing, even though some are moving to the cloud computing. But those that don't have rely now on cloud service providers like AWS. So AWS have these data centers. Google have their own data center, bigger rooms like this, which you see it's made up of racks and servers, where you can have your own data center. That is a local data center, which is like on premises. On premises, which means it's on your own premises, or in the cloud, which means you're renting from a service provider like that. So the people who deal with this are the data centers engineers. I don't know if that answers your question.
Thank you so much. It answered it perfectly.
All right. So I'll drop you back down so that we not affect the class yet. Okay, great. So that is the first part. Now, if it's okay, if this concept of client server architecture is okay, we should put one in the chat. It's about putting one, just one. Uh, One like that, enter. Yes. So if we are there to see, understand that people are there, we're not like one in the cloud and all. So great. All right. I'm saying we have Kobe in class. Okay, Van Patrick is not there. Okay, Van Patrick is there. We have Rudy Fanford, Van Patrick, Bobby Johnson, Logan Machine, and a packet. Okay, guys, do want to also tap your screen to ensure like share the live so that we'll be able to reach more people. That is the goal. And then do this. Okay. So now the second part of module one is actually cloud computing in general. So we did this in the last class, and we are going to just go through it again and then finish it generally. Now, what is cloud computing? Let me ask those that have read this in the chat. You can really quickly let's discuss this before we talk about. If you're interested, let's give a few chat round and then see. Let me see how many people are. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Okay, so indicate what is cloud computing um, generally. What is your understanding of cloud computing? It's a question. It's an open question. You can either chat or I should bring you up. Yeah. Someone says on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet. Okay. Yes.
Hey, Prof.
Hi, you know.
Good morning, everyone. Cloud computing is a delivery of uh, computing services using networks, storages, firewalls, like that.
Okay. Thank you. You know. Yeah, the delivery network storage is firewall. Yes. Frederick is there. Hi, Frederick.
Good day, sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Can I go ahead and answer?
Yes, go
Like
ahead. Go
contribute
ahead.
mine.
Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
cloud computing, according to the AWS definition, is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. If I understand it quite well, it simply means for anyone who is uh, connected to the AWS cloud products. So the resources that is needed is being delivered to you as you when you pay for such resources, and this enables the job to be very easier for you or for any establishment through the AWS cloud organization or something. That's all what I could take out from it.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Frederick. Thank you. I appreciate.
Yes,
Who
sir.
has another answer apart from Frederick, Samuel, and Beckett? Nobody? All right. Okay. Thank you, Frederick. I will drop you back so that we'll continue. Okay. Now, that is great, guys. Thank you very much. Okay. Samuel, you say you have another. So let me see for someone. Invite someone. Yeah. Where's Summer? Summer, I'm waiting for you to join and answer. No? Summer, are you there? Okay, okay. Kobe say, from my own understanding, cloud computing is a medium or space to access online IT services. Okay, cool. That's great. I see people have actually studied, which is great. I like that. Sam, I sent you an invitation probably, but if you're not able to come up, you can actually write in the chat. It's great. All right, cool. Yeah, I think that all of you have given the access in a really great way. Cloud computing, like I always say, in a layman language, it's just about accessing another person's computer over the internet, right? But then since you're talking about more bookish definition, so it's just about having access to to compute resources over the internet. And these compute resources are provided by a cloud service provider. And so you can either you pay for it just as you go on the pay as you go services, right? So now what does that mean entirely? Okay, I get. So what does that mean entirely? Let's just first things first, we look at when they talk about compute resources, what is compute resources? So if you talk about compute, can you guys see my screen very well? Let me see if it's control plus shift plus what is happening? Shift minus no plus. Right. I guess this is big enough. You can see my screen very well now. Voila, yes. So I'll still increase that as well. So say IT resources like that. So when we talk about IT resources in computer, what do we mean by IT resources? Like, what are some of the IT resources and why do we have to want to access them over the internet or whatsoever? So some of these IT resources generally are resources that we have them already on our computer, right? But the fact that in the company we want these resources at a larger scale and we want it fast, we now need to buy more. So if you're a company, you need storage resources like Perkins, they say network, storage resources, databases, all these are IT resources. We need more computers, which are servers. As you've seen generally, we have computers in bracket that can say servers, right? That is one. We need storage to store information. These are resources like we talked about the last time. Google Drive, right? So you have Google Drive is a storage device. How do you use Google Drive? You store your documents inside. That's a storage which you use them as a cloud computing service, right? We talk about databases. No, not about databases. We talk about network NIL. We talk about somebody says networking, server, storage, databases. Yes, that's great. Um, what again? There are other things, right? Other capabilities. At least these are the okay. We have security tools like switches and router, but all goes to security tools. This will still go to under networking because it goes with networking. So generally, these are some of the resources when we talk about the IT resources that we are accessing from the internet. So why would a company want to have more compute resources like that? Why do we want to have more? Because we want to grow our business, right? The, we want to buy more computers to use for business. We need more storage to store our data to be able to serve our clients. We need more network connectivity within our resources so that different um, the access to different resources or different storage will be better. We need security tools to be able to protect our resources that are actually running so that we prevent hackers. So all of these are IT resources. So cloud computing is simply instead of you buying these generally, instead of you buying a computer, storage device, database, network devices, cables, wires, and switches, you prefer to access or rent these resources from what they call a service provider, from a cloud service provider, from a cloud service provider, like that. So the cloud service provider provide these services for you over the internet. And now that is how you, in essence, now have access to these resources using what? The client server architecture. So for each request that you're going to make to the cloud service provider that you want to use a particular service. And this services follows the pay as you go model, which means that you pay for what you use, right? You don't have like upfront costs compared to the fact that if you are supposed to buy a new laptop or a new server, you go and pay upfront. You go to the shop, you buy it, bring it, do your installations, and then you start using it. That is what we call your upfront costs, right? But then for cloud computing, you do not have to pay upfront. You only have to pay for what you are using. And so you have access to all of these resources over the internet. Now, this cloud service provider, they have their data center where they have all the services on it, and then you can now have access to those resources. So that is why I said cloud computing, it's about using somebody else's computer or accessing another person's computer over the internet for a pay as you go model. So you only pay for what you use, right? For how long you use. So if I use a computer for 1 hour, I'm going to pay for it for 1 hour. And after that, I bring it down. So it's just about the comparison between building a house and renting a house. So if you rent a house, you only pay for your monthly rent, right? But if you build a house, you need capital. You need to buy land, hire laborers, start from building the foundation, building the house, roofing. If it's upstairs, you put decking, you put doors, windows, tiling, painting, all of those things. You need to have the money to do it before you start staying in the house. So you see that that one has a high overhead capital intensive cost. But the cloud computing brings a solution to reduce capital expenses. That is an advantage over variable expenses. So, which means that you only be paying for what you use. So, if I'm wanting to rent a one-room house, I pay only for that room house for the time I stay. If I don't want to stay here again, I just need to transfer and go to somewhere else. So you see that I'll save up on building a house. I'll just rent and I stay as a one. And I move when am tired of using. And that is how it is. So that is just the concept of cloud computing, using or accessing IT resources over the internet and for a pay as you go model. Now, there are different service providers which we're going to see, like Google, but we are dealing with AWS because we're doing AWS certification, so we're going to learn AWS specifically like that. Yes, they have a lot of money. Okay, let me show you. You just talk about that now. AWS has money. Just see how much they make. AWS quarter 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 revenue. They make 29 billion for the first quarter of this year. So I want you to understand that. So AWS service, the first quarter, Q1 in 2025. This is it here. Amazon Web Service brought in 29.3 billion Q1 in 2025. So they make a lot of money because they power the whole world. They are the largest market share in cloud computing services. There is money in thing. Okay, so we can talk about our after the class. So that is it. So now understanding what a cloud computing is. Now there are different models when you deal with cloud computing, right? So when selecting a strategy for your company, or if you're working for a company, you need to understand the different deployment models. So when we talk about the deployment model, it's about how you set up your environment, right? So now, if your company you are looking at moving to the cloud, now which model would suit you best, right? Based on your current situation and where you want to go to. So that is why we talk about the different deployment models for cloud computing. Now we have three deployment models. We have the hybrid deployment model, we have the on-premise deployment model, and we have the cloud-based deployment model like that. So a deployment model is simply how to run your applications, or rather where to run your applications and how should architecture look like that. So for a cloud-based deployment model, it means that you're running all your application in the cloud. So in this case, we call it a public cloud, right? So all your applications from databases, storage, everything in your company is running in the cloud. So we'll say that that is a cloud-based deployment model, right? Now, you have the on-premise deployment model where you are running all your resources. You are not running in the cloud, but you are using your own data center. I already showed you a picture of a data center. You can have your data center and then and you don't need to go to the cloud, right? So you can set up your own data center. So if you're running all your workload on your own data center, that is called an on-premise deployment, which means that your applications are running in your own infrastructure on premises. You don't rely on a cloud service provider. Now, the hybrid deployment model is when part of your workload is running on your own premises, then part of your application is running in the cloud in AWS, and then part is running on your own premises. That is called hybrid, right? Hybrid hybrid is like uh, how do you call it? There is this term we use when we're growing up. Um, I've forgotten the name. I wanted to use a local name. You know, when yeah, hybrid. It's hybrid. Like when we're growing to build with dogs, where you take a German Shepherd to cross a normal dog, they run a different breed of dog, like a mix, right? A 50-50. Thank you, and Perkins. So when you have like that 50-50 workload, like 50 is running on your own data center, then 50% is running on the cloud, or 70-30, in as much as you have part of your workload in the cloud and part of your workload on your on-premise, that is referred to as um, a hybrid deployment model. So that is when we talk about a cloud deployment, we have just three main deployment: the cloud-based, on-premise, and the hybrid. Now, Frederick is asking, is data center and server the same thing? Okay, let me explain that. When you talk about a server, it's just one. It's not the same thing. A server is a computer. A data center is an infrastructure, is a building that has multiple servers, right? So a data center contains servers. So it's like a center, like how you go to a computer center, right? You go to cyber cafe. That's a computer center that has computers there, right? So that center keeps computers. So a data center holds servers like that, ready to serve. But a server is actually a computer, while a data center is like a building with casing that has multiple computers connect, multiple servers that are connected to each other, like that. Yeah, thank you, Kobe. Server is found in a data center, right? Great. So that is it. So what are some of the benefits of cloud computing? So at this point for the cloud-based models, right? I guess we're okay. If it's okay, you put one in the chat. The cloud deployment model. If you're okay, one in the chat, and we're moving forward. Know that everything is fine for this point. Great. Thank you. I like the follow up. And I appreciate the fact that you guys are here till now. I think Van Patrick, I'm not saying Van Patrick, okay, then Johnson, Eno Perkins, Ashraf Hakim, and okay, right. So it means that that part is okay, and then now we can now go to the benefit of cloud computing. We did this extensively the last time, so we're just going to run through it, right? So I just talk about the upfront expenses of variable trading upfront for variable expenses. That's the first thing I even explained. Building a house, you need capital, right, to build a house. So to start your computer, you need a lot of capital. You need to buy computer, you need to order the computer. It takes time to come and all of that before you start using it because the server is not like a normal desktop you just go to the shop and buy, right? You need to maybe if you need Microsoft um, a type you need to make it require, you need to send, how do you call it? A purchase order. Voila. You need to send a purchase order. You need to buy it, they ship it to you. Then you need a network engineer to be able to come and install that, configure the cables and all of that. So that, in essence, you need the money upfront. So that is high capital intensive, right? But when we are moving to the cloud, you don't need the upfront. You just need to pay for what you use. So instead of paying 2,000 for a server, $2,000 for a server, you can start by paying $10 a day that you're using or per month that you're using. If you check my bills now that I have on AWS, it's like $30 I pay per month. So you see that with that, it comes at an advantage that you are trading upfront expenses for a data center, physical server, and other resources. You are trading it for variable expenses. Variable expenses means you only pay for the computing that you use. So that is an advantage. So that is one reason why companies are moving to the cloud or why it's advisable to move to the cloud. If I want to start a company today, I don't need to go and start buying servers, networking, renting a data center. I just need to move to the cloud because it will be more advantageous for me to start today than to start in 2 months because setting all of that will take a lot of time and I need that money. So I will use that money to do other things while I can just use the cloud service. So it's an advantage to trade capital expenses. Stop spending money to run and maintain data centers. You don't need to hire anybody to come and maintain your data center for you. Oh, there is cooling. I need a data center engineer, like who was asking earlier about okay, Hill. So you see that if you have your own data center, you need to hire a data center engineer to come and maintain your data center. You need all the cooling, the maintenance because it's hot, right? The computers are running 247. They don't go off because if they go off, your application is down. So you need to be running all the time. It is power intensive. You electricity bills, you need cooling, you need engineering. So all of that, it saves you a lot of money spending on all of that by just moving to the cloud. So that's a major advantage. And you also need security, yes, so that people should not care. So all of this now, you're pushing it to the service provider, to AWS. You don't need to worry about it. You just need to create your computer and start your server and start working like that. So you see that is an advantage for benefit, one of the benefits of cloud computing. Three, stop guessing capacity. When we talk about stop guessing capacity, it's like you want to run an application, you're guessing, do I need 10 GB, 50 GB, or 20 GB, like that. So, but for cloud computing, you don't need to guess. You just need to start working and you only be paying for what you're using. So if you need more, you just request for more. If you need less, you request for less. So you don't need to guess. So you can start small and then you grow when it comes to the cloud. So that is a major advantage. It prevents you from guessing your capacity. Now, economy of scale. Now, with the fact that you're going to pay in low cost for pay as you go model, it makes you to save more money. Thereby, you benefit from economies of scale. Like that. So you save a lot of money. Um, so thousands of customers can aggregate in cloud providers such as AWS, achieve economy of scale. This translates to lower pay as you go pricing, right? So since you only use what you pay for, you simply now just you benefit from economy of scale, which is an advantage. Now, increase speed and agility. Now, it makes it easier to deploy your application faster in the cloud, which means that you can provision your application, your cloud infrastructure within minutes. So the fact that you can take 5 seconds or 5 minutes to create a server and deploy your application improve the speed in which you can go to the market with your application, right? And so with that now, it improves your time to it reduce your time to market, put you at a better position for in high competitive advantage for your product in the market. So we benefit from speed and agility in that sense. There you go, global in minutes. Based on the fact that cloud service provider like AWS has what they call the global infrastructure, right? They are located in different regions across the world, around the world. You can decide to deploy a workload in a different region. So I can be in Cameroon today, then I said I want to run my workload in the United States. I'm just going to go to a particular region and then I'll deploy my workload in that particular region and my data will be there. So you can go global in minutes and serve your customers anywhere in the world like that. So that is also an advantage when it comes to cloud computing. So these are the main, there are a lot of benefits, but these are the main 6 benefits of cloud computing when it comes to actually moving to the cloud. So these are the benefits. You can go global mini, stop guessing capacity, and all of that, like that. And we had already done this before. So the question to you is the quiz. Now, let's look at the quiz. Let's see our answers. Now, you're just going to put A, B, and C in A, B, C, D, E in the class to see how it goes. Now, what is cloud computing? It's the backend is the backing up files that are stored on desktop mobile devices, deployed applications connected to on-premise, running code without need to manage or provision servers, on-demand delivery of IT services and application through the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. A, B, or C? Which one is the right answer for this? Now waiting for your response in the chat. Let me hit this. Calm down a bit. Yes. Look at it again. Everybody's seeing this, right? What is cloud computing? A, B, or C? A, B, C, or D, sorry. Okay, so let's see. So people say D, C, D. Okay, Samre has changed from, okay, Samre is D. Okay. Okay, Samsung says D. This is a question here, Nelcom. What is cloud computing? It's there on the screen. I guess you can see it, right? What is cloud computing? A, B, C, or D? Ashraf Hakim says it's D. Okay. Okay, let's see the winner. The question is, what is cloud computing? You have one, backing up on files that are stored on the desktop, prevent data loss. B, deploy applications connected to on-premise infrastructure. D, running code without the need to manage or provision servers. And D, on-demand delivery of IT resources and application through the internet with the pay-as-you-go pricing. You can Okay, Kobe has changed his mind to D. Nerco said D. Okay, yes. So the right answer is D. Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources and application through the internet with the pay-as-you-go pricing model. That's the right answer. If I submit this, Pune, that is the correct answer. Like that. Okay, we'll go to the next. What is the name for on-premise deployment? What is another name for on-premise deployment? Yes, that's great. Sounds like A, private cloud deployment. B, cloud-based deployment. C, hybrid deployment. D, AWS cloud. What is another name for on-premise deployment? Dohi A, Ashraf Hakim A, Malcolm A. Are you guys sure? You guys should think twice. So, are you sure it's A? Okay. Frederick A. Okay, Kobe is A. Great. No, it's A. Okay, everybody says A. Okay, so it's A. Okay. So I will not be taking general. Okay, now I'll not be doing it again. I'll be counting the majority. Then I'll check the answer whether I have it or fail it. Right. So that's what we're doing. Okay. I'll take majority. Now, next question. How does cloud computing helps to save costs? One, A, you do not have to invest in technology resources before using them. B, the aggregated cloud usage from large number of customers results in low pay as you go pricing. C, assessing service on demand helps to prevent excess or limited capacity. D, you can quickly deploy applications to customers and provide them with low latency. So, which one is the right answer? Now, I'm going to choose majority. Okay. Okay. It starts from. No, I don't know where it started from. Okay, it starts from. Okay, it starts from Frederick. Frederick say B. Somebody say B. Don't he A. Who B? Okay, yeah, it started from you. Please, Ashraf, say read again. I said, how does the scale of cloud computing help you save costs? One, you do not have to invest in technology resources before using them. Two, the aggregated cloud usage from a large number of customers results in low pay-as-you-go pricing. Three, accessing services on demand helps to prevent excess or limited capacity. Four, you can quickly deploy applications to customers and provide them with low latency. Okay, so everybody saying B. Are you sure it's B? So okay, Frederick B, Samuel B, don't he say A? Um, don't he has said B now? Kobe said B, Ashraf said B. So it means everybody said B at this point. Okay, only one person said D. Okay, so the majority saying B. I'm not saying anything. I'm just going to choose B. Let's see. Hey, are you people sure you can change your mind? Oh, majority say B. Okay, Johnson said B. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's correct. Great, guys. Okay, so the correct response is B. The aggregated usage from a large number of customers results in low pay-as-you-go pricing like that. And this answer describes how customers can benefit from large, massive economy of scale in cloud computing. The other responses options are incorrect. Okay, and boom, we are finished with module one. Yes, don't hear. Go ahead. Let me bring you up. Where are you? Where is Don here? Want assistant. I send you an invitation down here.
Thank you very much.
Frederick said it should be A. Yes, don't hear.
Yeah, Frederick, I myself, when I was going through this course, I felt like the answer should be A, but again, when I got it wrong, I went back to the definition, the answer that was given for B, and I discovered that I failed that question because of the word aggregate. I said, "Hey, this thing could be English. English could be semantics problem." So, if I knew the meaning of aggregate, I will understand what it means by scaling. So I went and checked and discovered that aggregate has to do with collecting, like move. Like to collect to gather into a mass or a whole. That's
Yeah.
when I realized that actually the answer is B, because that word aggregate, it's very very if you don't know the meaning, you may miss out the answer and feel that the answer is A. That's just my comment. Thank you guys.
All
It's
right.
really
Thank
fun.
you very much. Even Frederick is saying that he failed it the first time. So it means that he went. Okay. So yeah, we are done with module one. Thank you guys. So we are done with module one. Should we go to module two? Okay. So we are done with module one generally. So thank you guys very much. If this was okay with everybody, you can put how do you give an emoji. Is it an emoji? Okay, so if we are on the same page like everybody else with the module one and it feels that it was understood and everything was okay, you should give me a thumbs up in the chat. Why not? Right. Thank you, Don here. Thank you guys. Thank you, Kobe. Oh, come on. You guys are I did not say you should give me gifts too. You guys say you should give me thumbs up in the chat session. So thank you. I appreciate Kobe and Don here. All right. So that was module one, and it's quite okay and interesting that we all actually. How do you get the notes, Ashraf? Ashraf is not. These notes are on the platform. So if you go to skillbuilder.aws, skillbuilder, you are going to have access to the course. So if you go to my profile, go and follow me, guy. Go to my profile. I've made a video. I think 2 videos back. I made a video with the video to walk you through to create your account and register for this course. The video is there on my profile. So you can check that and then you can have access to this and then you can continue learning as you're moving forward like that. Yeah, all right, great. So for everybody that wants to actually participate, we should be able to sign up on the 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 profile, no, on the platform, and then get access to it. No, you read it on your own time. The goal is you need to read this before you come to class, right? You need to read it before you come to class so that we have that conversation about this. So now it's just like more of throwing more light because you already have read it and gone through it again, and then I'm just maybe putting some icing. So easy to this one. We'll break this module into 2 parts because it really needs some in-depth level of explanation, right? Because we are actually diving out to the services now. This is the first service, which is EC2. Module 2 is talking about EC2. Now, since we are following this as it is going forward, if I was the one to plan this course, I wouldn't have moved to EC2 yet, right? But since we're already there, we'll talk about it, we'll learn it, and then we'll move forward generally like that. So today we're just going to do the EC2 introduction and then the EC2 types so that we are not filled with too much information because at least people are still catching up and they're still to join again. So if we talk too much, it'll be too much information and then it will not really make sense. So we'll still give time for people now to meet up with the module and then so that all of us are on the same page. As we're talking and going, we know that we are following up properly, and then it is solidifying our knowledge in the course like that. I guess we're okay with that. All right. Now, the learning objective of this module is to describe the benefits of Amazon EC2 at a basic level, identify the different types of EC2 instances, differentiate between the various billing options for EC2, summarize the benefit of EC2 auto-scaling, the benefit of load balancing, give example of uses of elastic load balancing, summarize the difference between simple notification service and this is already high level, but we are all big boys, so we are getting there at this point. So now, what is EC2? Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. Now, from the name EC2, it means that the service name is Elastic Compute Cloud. So that is the meaning EC2. So if you look at it, one E and then two C. So for short, that is why we have the name EC2, like that. You get the point. Let me see, do I have more light? Okay, the light is better now. So that is first the meaning of EC2. So we talk about EC2, you just know that we talk about Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, like that. Okay, great. So what is EC2 generally, right? Now, Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud is a service that enables you to provision servers, virtual servers in Amazon. Let me explain. I will explain with evidence. So you know how you normally need to buy computers to come and use them, right? So you go to a shop and order a computer, a server. You want to buy a server, say, or a computer, let's say a MacBook or a Windows computer. You need to go to the shop. You look for what you want, the type you want. You are going to choose it based on the RAM, based on the hard disks, based on the operating system. Right? You look at it, you see the shop with the different types of computers, MacBook Pro, MacBook Lite, Windows, this, that. All of that, all those type of computers are there. Then you choose the one that you want based on one, your budget, two, what you want to do with it. Because you actually, a lot of people buy computer based on what they want to do with the computer, right? And so you buy that computer, then you shop it, and then you come now and start using it. So EC2 is that service that enables you, because since you are using compute resources now, right? We are taking these resources from where? From AWS. So AWS enables you. So EC2 is like that service, that shopping center in AWS that enables you to do what? To provision a server. Because in this case, we're not buying laptops, but we're buying servers. But since we want to use servers, oh, Bado, my junior brother is here and is killing me with gifts. Thank you, Laman. Thank you very much. So EC2 service, EC2 now is that service which enables you to provision a server in AWS. So if you want to use a particular server now, you are going to go to EC2. So it's the service responsible to for to enable you to provision a server. Now in AWS, a server is called an instance. So a server is called an instance. Now, so we guys give me a minute. So I have somebody on my door. No, not another name for a server is called an instance. In AWS, it is called an instance. In because different clouds will have different name. We're dealing with AWS now, right? So in AWS, a server is called an instance. In Google Cloud, a server is called a VM, right? So different cloud providers will give it a different name, but it's the same thing. Just as we call good morning in English, good morning. In French man will call it bonjour. Right? We call like that. We call puff puff. French man will call it beignet. So a server in normally, if you go and buy it physically, it's a server. If you go to AWS will call it an instance. If you go to Google Cloud call it, but it's the same thing, but different cloud providers will give it a different name. So an EC2 is that service that enables you to provision, we call it provisioning. So to actually have an is a server. And so that server is called an instance. That is why in some cases, yeah, Azure has its own name too. Yes, you're right. So in Azure, Microsoft Azure, it has its own name like that. So that's how it is. So um now that is why you'll be hearing words like EC2 instance. We'll use that word interchangeably, like EC2 instance. So when we talk about EC2 instance, it's going to be like a server, which is EC2 server, right? So I just want to throw that out there so that there's no confusion, because I'm already used to it. I might interchange the word. I can talk about server, I can talk about instance and all of that. So I can interchange the word so that you should not confuse. So this EC2 is a service that enables us to provision what a server. So it's just like that shopping mall. So with that now we have different instance type. That is why you see as part of the objectives here, as part of the objective, they say you're going to identify the different Amazon EC2 instance type because these are the different server type, right? Like a computer type. So you want to buy a MacBook if you go to a shop. So look at EC2 as a shop to shop servers, right? So you have the different types of servers that are there. Then now you will now do what choose which one you want for a particular workload, like that. So at the basic level, EC2 is that service that enables you to provision a server. So it's just like a shopping center for servers in AWS, like that. So we're calling it a service because it's actually a service. When you make your request to the service, then it provision the instance for you, like that. So that is EC2 at a basic level. So if you come here now, so you see that instead of buying these computers upfront, you can now provision it virtually. Virtually means that you cannot see it, but you can provision it but not see it. Virtual is something that you can see but you cannot touch, right? It's like real, it's like not real, but real, not real, kind of like that. So generally here, that is why they'll tell you that by comparison, I'm actually doing this explanation this much because it doesn't really there's a limitation to this that will give you um, that detailed explanation like that. Provisioning, not positioning, provision, just like you're providing. So it provision, so you're provisioning an EC2 instance like that. Okay, so here it explains that by comparison, imagine the corporate architecture. You need to spend money upfront to purchase hardware. You wait for the server to be delivered to you. You install the server in your physical, all of that, and so on. So, with that, we don't need the physical data center. We don't need to set up our own data centers for all of this. So, easy to enable you to provision with an Amazon EC2 instance, you can use a virtual server to run an application in the cloud. Like that is what I was saying, because you're going to use the name EC2 instance. So instance is that virtual server, is that server that you actually will provision. So you can choose what type of instance to use for the work case. Now, how does the EC2 work? You launch it, you connect, and then you use. That's all, right? So at the point of launching, you open. So you first of all launch your instance by beginning, you select this template, You select the template and you do the configuration and you prepare for it. And then you launch the server and then you use it. So I can actually do that real quick to just show you how it works. So let me go to AWS console so that I see what I'm talking about. Let me log in to my account. I have an account that is running. So this is AWS console. We are going to see how to connect with all of these in another time. Let me go to English. Yes. So I'm signing into my account. For those that attended the class, there's a video that we did create AWS accounts. So you see that class was really important. Hey, Frederick. Okay, the lawyer. My name here is Baba, and I'll have here my passwords, and I'll sign in. All right, no, don't spam into that. All right, so now this is AWS. This is AWS own dashboard, right? This is my account in AWS. And if you see when we talk about the regions, more important than a woman. You're not curious. So you see, this is what we mean by global. You see, I'm in Europe, Stockholm. Stockholm is in Sweden, though. So if I want to go to US, this is the global infrastructure. Part of the advantages we talk to go global in any minute. If I want to work in America now, this is Virginie, you know, right? So it's in French. I don't know why it's in French, but for some reason, let's forget about that one. So now this is AWS. Now, if I want to go to a particular service, I'll say EC2, like that. So you see here, why is this in French? Hold on, let me change, see if I can change the language to English. Yes, let me switch to English so that's better. Yes, okay. So now here, if I go to EC2, even just here from the description, you see that it is a virtual servers in cloud, right? So if I click and open the service, so this is how the dashboard looks like. You're going to see instance running. I already have an instance that is running. They're all the other things that are here. So I will be seeing it as we're going. So you see now, if you come to the left here, let me improve the screen to be big a bit. Okay, I guess you can see it better now. So if you come to the left here, you're going to see that you have instances here and you have instance type here, right? So this is how it is generally. So if I go to instances, I'll see that I have one instance that is running. My production, I have an application that is running. If you are following me, you know that I have an AI application that's running. It's running here on a server. So this particular application, let me just show you what I'm talking about. If I open it and I take the IP address and I click here and I paste the IP address here, paste it. I'm not supposed to be pasting it here on live, but I trust you guys that you will not have my account. You see, I have my application. This is my application that is running Pocket Layer in my server that I've provisioned, right? So this application actually running in my server that I have provisioned. Let me close it fast, so that people should not see. And let me leave this point to fast, so that people should not see. I'm risking everything just to teach you guys because it's out there like that. Hackers can just pick it and just hit it from that angle. So now, if I want to launch a new instance now, say I want to create a new server. Let me show you how it is provisioned, right? So I'm going to launch server now. So you see that this is the EC2 service, and now I'm under what? Instances. If I just go to EC2 back, you see that this is the dashboard. But now, if I want to go now to launch instances, I'll go now to instances here. I'll see my instances, my servers. Then now, if I want to launch the instances now they say Amazon EC2 allows you to create virtual machines or instances that runs on AWS cloud. That is what I was trying to explain. So the EC2 is the service that is just like a shop that allows you to provision your EC2 instances at this point. So you can put it a name, give it any name. I said, since Frederick and Don here are laughing at me, I'll call this Frederick. Frederick. You can put it any name you want. It depends on you. iPhone, Don here. They're laughing at me for fearing to not be hacked. Now, you remember we talked about if you want to go and buy a MacBook, if you want to buy a Windows, what type of operating system do you want to buy in your computer? They're all here. You can see if you want a MacBook, this is Mac OS. If you want Ubuntu, if you want a Windows, if you want Linux, Red Hat, if you want SUSE Linux, they're all here. Any operating system you want to choose. Remember, it's actually a computer you're provisioning, right? It's actually a computer you're provisioning. So at this point, you can want any of them depending on your workload. So you see that it comes about now when you're talking about the time, right? You talk about the type of computer that you want. You will now choose. So EC2 gives you all that opportunity to do so, right? You choose which one you want to do and all of that. Then if you come here, you'll now see instance type. Now, what type of instance do you want? So this instance type comes in function of your memory, your system processing unit. So if you come, where are we? We are here, right? We actually want to launch, but you see that the next topic is talking about a different instance type. So to launch the instance, this is just how it works, right? So I'm just using both to show you practically how it actually works, like that. So with this now, you will now select what type of EC2 instance you want to work in function of what you want to run, right? So there's some people that will go and buy a 2 GB RAM computer. They want to buy a 16 GB RAM computer and all of that. So AWS has labeled it as type. So if you look at this one, this is called T3 Micro. If you look at it, you see that it has a 1 GB memory here. The RAM is 1 GB. If I want a more intensive RAM, like bigger RAM, I can go to a 16 GB RAM with 4 CPU. So now you're going to be choosing the instance based on what you want to choose. Now, okay, Samsung is saying what determines which one to choose. Now, the application you want to run, what type of application you want to run, right? Is it does the application requires high CPU power? Does it require high storage? So it based on what you want to run, what type of application. Say if I'm running now a cryptocurrency, because this now, if I want to do cryptocurrency mining, what do you think I need? I need high CPU power. So instead of looking at the memory, I'm going to look for the ones that have high CPU instead of high memory, right? So with that now, you see that based on the type of workload you want to run, you now do what? Choose based on which particular type of server you need. If I'm doing weather forecasts, I still need like high. If you're doing like this prediction gaming stuff, you need like that memory processing. You need computer that needs high RAM. So based on your application, you don't just go and choose. But generally, we have the T type, which is general. There's a balance. If you want something that is just normal, balanced, usable, you go with the T type. But there are other types like these are the T type. You see the C type family here. We're going to see the different types. You'll really understand how to choose the different type of computer. Like if you go to the ones with, you see like this one has 192 GB RAM, 72 vCPU power, right? So there are different companies, like people that are doing machine learning now, all the training, the AI models, and all of that. So they have different type of, they need a special type of computer with a GPU and all of that. So you choose in function of the type of your application like that. I don't know if that makes sense to you. So let me go back to my T3. micro. I'll leave it at the default. Then now the key pair is just for security. We'll not talk about this. I'll just continue with this. This is about your network. We talk about network. You need your VPC. I'll leave everything as default. We don't need this. And then this is the storage, your hard drive. How many GB you want for your hard drive? Your hard disk. So people need 500 GB. You see that you can start with 8 GB. You don't need to provision large for storage that you don't know, right? So that is how it happens generally. So with that, I can go ahead and see that my image is Amazon Linux. The type of instance type here is T3 micro. This is the security, the firewall is default, which I choose, and all of that, and all of that, and all of that. So I'm just going to launch the instance now. And you see, launching instance, your system instance launch has been initiated. So if I go back to my instances, and I refresh this page, I should be able to see that I have now the Frederick Dunhill instance that is actually running on my computer. Now I can log into it and start doing installations and start serving, right? Like that. So that is how you launch an EC2 instance. I can put any application inside now, and I serve it, and people can access it, and that is how it is. So that is how a server is. But now you see now I've provisioned a server within 1 minute, right? But if I was starting a company now and I need a server, what happened? I need to now send a purchasing order. It might take 2 weeks. They approve it for the type of for my specifications. The plan I make payment. The plan they ship it to me. It's going to take like 1 or 2 months for the server to come. But I've sat here now. Within 5 minutes, I've provisioned the server and it's good to go. I can literally log into the server now, connect to it, connect to it, establishing connection, and I start installing application right away, like that, without any worries. So this is what they talk about agility, the speed in which you have all of these and everything in on a go within minutes. So these are the advantages of cloud computing. So if I take sudo yum install uh, httpd -y. I want to show you, I want to install an application. So the application is actually installing now. Uh, so sudo yum, sudo system ctl start httpd. So it has started. Now, see the interesting part. If I go back here and copy this IP address, where is it? My public IP. I want to make a request to my server. Now, see what happens. I'll go and copy my IP address now. This is a client server now. Now, I'll assume that I'm a client. I'll put my IP address and then I'll hit enter. Now, you see here now, I've sent a request to my server and it has come back here that it works to show you that the application has been installed successfully. Okay, the dark screen you're seeing in movies only before. Now you start getting to it very soon. No, very soon, everything will be fine. Yeah. And you really love it because it's really sweet. So you see, I've just installed something generally and we can now see it. So that is the concept. Now I had a server installed, installed an application on it. Now it is already serving the application. So that's how company works. When an application is developed, they will not put it on a server. The server is there to serve upon request. So when you type that, when a client now make a request to that server, the server is going to serve the information back to the client. So that is easy to instance. That is how it works generally, like that. So I don't know if this is understood at this level. If it's understood at the level, let's hit one in the chat. I know that everybody is okay, like that. So we have seen now how we can launch the EC2 instance. I've connected to it. This is the connection that I've connected to it now. And I've actually done what? Use it by installing an application, and we can see the application that we've installed here. So it's as if I'm lagging behind based on the internet. So if this is understood at this point, please give one in the chat. Put one in the chat. Let me close all of these. Let me delete this, terminate. I'm terminating it because if I leave it, I will pay for it. So yep, that is it. With that here, this is it. And this one is gone. This is it. Oh, sorry, I already deleted. I already deleted the server. Hold on, I'll connect it again and see. No, but this one is just to show you that when you're doing this in detail, there's more ways to connect, a secure way to connect from your computer. So that one, this is just an overview to show you how to launch, connect, and use. So, now I'm seeing the free tier. That's the free tier. Okay, Frederick, you have a question. Frederick, oh yeah, come up. I don't want. Hold on. Why is this thing delaying to work? Okay. Frederick, where are you? Why am I not seeing you here? Okay, you're here. Right.
Good day, everyone.
Yes, good day, Frederick.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. I'll be right here where I am. I'll be trying to see how best I can ask this question. During the
How?
process where you were showing how best I can, you know, forge the question I want to ask, because while you were teaching us, while you were going through the practical aspect of how one can execute the EC2 instances, I got a little bit confused, sir.
Yeah,
From what you did, you simply opened up an application or something, and you bought a an instance,
yeah,
which also means server,
yeah.
and then you launched it.
Mm.
Now, I want to ask this question using a real life
Scenario.
um, scenario, sir. Now, let's take for example MTN network
Yeah,
or company
yeah,
wants to migrate
yeah,
to cloud system, and they want to like look into AWS company. They want the AWS company
yeah,
to be their the ones to serve them.
yeah.
Now, we all know that MTN company has this different application. How are they going to now? Is it that they are going to copy their own server and insert it into the AWS and it start running from the AWS, or must one have this knowledge of web design or coding to be
No,
able
no, no,
to
no.
do this?
No. That is where you come in. They have an application. Okay, that's a very good scenario, right? Let me just explain. Now, see what has happened. Let me use the diagram. You're still seeing my screen, correct? Everybody sees my screen, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me use diagram to illustrate this particular part. Now, let's assume this is MTN and they have their application running on. This is the application. Let me put a ball because the head is not correct. So let me put here MTN app, right? And then this is MTN here, MTN server here, MTN server, right? So this is MTN server running on MTN. Now this application is running on MTN. Now the application has already been developed and it's running, right? And they want
Yes,
to
sir.
go to AWS cloud with the application. So now what happens is they are going to come to, they'll need you as an engineer to come now and provision an EC2 instance. So now this will be, we'll call it MTN Cloud now, right? Because they're no longer on-prem
Okay.
again. Now you provide the instance. Now, what you do is you migrate. Migration means you copy. You now copy the application and bring it here.
Okay.
This is not going as I want it to go. This one, come here like this. Let me shift you up. Hold on. Yes. I want you to be like this. Perfect. So now we'll move the application from there to here. We'll copy it like that.
Mm.
So you are not doing any changes to the application. You're not doing anything to it. You're just moving it. It's like copy. You know how you copy file from one computer to another or from your phone to your
So
desktop, right?
another, yeah,
So
yes,
this part now, this process is called migration. We'll migrate the application just like you carry it and then you shift it. You don't need coding, nothing. It's just one command. You're just going to run. Since you're going to be pipeline, oh, I've already stopped that particular aspect. But it's just one command where you can just say, no, I don't want to record. I didn't talk about recording. Hold on. Okay, now this is what I was looking for. Yeah, this one. This one. So now you'll be now on, you will see this is still a black screen, right? So this one will be like AWS black screen. You're just going to run, but generally there are many ways to do it professionally, right? But I'll just say there's a command called copy, right? So you're just going to say, I'm copying MTN app to MTN cloud. I hit enter, bam, it will do the processing. But then what you will do now is you need to first of all create the instance that you're copying to. You get the point now?
yes, sir.
So with that now, you copy and then that is it. You don't need no coding. You're going to learn only the basic of, you're going to learn Linux commands. Just like you know Windows, right?
Yeah,
You're going to learn Linux. Linux is an operating system where most companies use Linux as their operating system. You understand? So you're going to learn
yes,
how
sir.
to work with Linux operating because now you're using a Windows computer. You already know how to click from left to right. That's why you knew it naturally. Nobody taught you.
Yeah,
But you know that
yeah,
people who want to be advanced in this work, like secretariat, they still go for secretariat training to know how to use Microsoft Word and all of that, right? So if
yes, sir.
you want to learn Linux operating system now, you now learn Linux operating system that will enable you to know this command. Know that when you see CP is a copy. If you want to copy something, it's CP. This is source. Sorry. This is source, this is destination. So a copy from the source to the destination, hit enter, it's going to automatically transfer the file now, and then you can now access the file. You have nothing, you don't need to do any coding, you don't need to know any, I don't know shit about coding, brother. You understand? I'm not a developer.
Yes, sir.
Those people that are coding and the rest, they're the ones creating the application. You are responsible to build the infrastructure that the application will run on it.
Okay, okay,
I don't
okay.
know if that answers your question.
It does, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, great.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Patrick. Now you're talking about infrastructure as a service now. So that now is infrastructure as a service. So you have they give you the room to build your infrastructure to be able to move your application and come to your infrastructure on AWS.
Oh,
You are right. That is infrastructure as a service. That
okay,
is good.
service.
Follow it up. Right. So that is it. That is how it is, as easy as that. So you see that that is the basic of how EC2 works. We've launch, connect, then deploy. So, Samuel, Frederick, someone will kill you. Someone say, Frederick, no more confusion. Uh, okay. So let's finish with the instance time now. So we already understood the concept of the EC2, right? So the EC2 is that service that enables you to launch your server, which the server is called an instance, like that. So I don't know if there's any code. Yes, don't hear you have a question. Ask as many questions as possible so that you get this clear to accept, don't hear come up. Ask as many questions as possible.
Yeah, I have my own question. Since we're still on EC2,
Mm.
EC2, Amazon EC2 instances.
Frederick, I
On
should
the
not allow
core
you.
instances, we have. Can you hear
Sorry?
me, guys?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm just talking, reacting to Frederick's comment. We say I should not allow you.
No, 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 no. It's okay. It's okay, guys. It's very. I ask
No,
questions that I have worries, and we
he's
can
just
all
joking.
learn.
Go ahead.
Frederick, relax. Frederick, relax. So, on-demand instance is very easy to understand. Spot instance is easy to understand. Dedicated host, very easy to understand. My difficulties lies at these two instances, reserve instances and saving plans. And for those
Well,
that have gone through instances, they'll discover that these two instances they're a little bit complex to understand. Thank you.
mm. All right, we'll come to that. You're already running too fast. So you see, we have step by step, right? So where would go? That would be the next class. We'll talk about that because that will be based on the EC2 pricing. I just want to also end at the instance type now, so that we don't have a lot of information. But yeah, I'm just going to I'm going to brush that by explaining a bit. It's just one and the same thing. These people are a little bit tricky and small TIF to make you to the sugarcoat words will mean the same thing. So all of this, when you work with it, you know that it's a technique for them to sell their services much more better and to make people buy it like that. So we're going to explain that a little bit in the next class and put it because you've already gone a little bit far, right? I hope that's not an issue, so that we don't go ahead and then while some people are still behind. Where do you pay to enable the instance you use? Yeah. You have billing now. There's billing. There's a service called billing. You don't need to pay to. As you're using, at the end of the month, you have bill. If I go to my account again, if you come here, uh, if even it's my account, but I've restricted myself from, I've received this account from the bills. So if you come here, access denied. So you see, this is permission. Access denied. This particular user does not have access to cost breakdown and billing. If I log out, you're going to see the account. Before you create your account, you must put um hey, Patrick, before you create your account, you must put in your account details, your payment details, so that AWS can literally charge you at the end of the month. They only charge you at the end of the month. They don't charge you before or after that. Right, okay. So you'll see that later. So as you've seen, I don't know if before now we have understood the instance, the EC2 instance. We can go to the instance type. I've already explained the instance types, right? The different types generally. So you have the different types which are based on what you want to use. So how you choose your instance is based on what tasks you want to run, what type of application. So if you see here, when selecting an instance type, consider the specific need of your workload and application. So if you are doing cryptocurrency, that is a workload. What type you need a high power computer with CPU usage. So with that, it already gives you a guide to what type of computer you want to use, right? So the EC2 type are under 5 categories. You have the general purpose instances. You have the compute optimized, that one with high compute power, high CPU usage. They have memory instances, that one with high memory processing, accelerated computing, and storage instances. So if you open each one, it's going to tell you the general purpose provide a balance of compute memory and network resources. You can use for variety of workload like normal application servers, gaming. So if you're running a gaming, see they give you example here. If you're running a game or just a normal application servers, a gaming server, back end, and small, medium databases. So if this is the type of thing you want to deal with, you can use general purpose instances. That is the T type, right? If you want compute optimized instances, then for high for workload such as web application, other gaming tool like high compute resources, like I was talking about the cryptocurrency mining and all of that. There are other applications that need high compute power, right? So choosing the type of instance, it's depending on you, your workload. If you look on my own workload here, if I go back to my EC2 instance, I'm running a normal Node.js application. And so if you come to my type of EC2 instance, you see that I'm using the T3 medium, right? And if you want to check the property of T3 medium, let's go to instance type. So on your left on the panel, you can see your instance type here. So you see the various type here. So if I type T3 medium, T3 medium, this is it here. This is my type, the type that I'm using. This is it. If I open it, so you see that it's going to give you, I have up to 5 GB of network performance. I have, where is it? This is the cost. This is how much I'm paying per hour, right? So I'm paying $0.0432 per hour. So for each hour I'm paying, it's pay as you go. So I'm using the on demand like that for pay as you go. What did I want to show you that you're talking about? Okay, this is the RAM now. So the memory is 4 GB RAM, like that. And this is the architecture. This is the CPU, just two vCPU. So you see that it's a normal type compute, a normal application. So it's just under the general purpose. But if I was running a high intensive application, I would have go for a different type. But in most cases, people run normal applications. It's for the type will vary based on your applications like that. So that is what enabled you to actually choose the type like that. Now, if you see this one for accelerated compute instances, they tell you the example here are for functions including floating point calculations, graphic processing, and data pattern matching, right? Those people that are doing algorithm and machine learning, floating point, high calculations, they need accelerated compute instances like that. Now, people that are doing transactions for large data sets, sales record, data warehouse, data mining, online transaction processing, they need a storage optimized instance. So that is based on your particular workload, like that. So that is how it is. So that's how you choose your EC2 instance. So that is the instance type for you. So you don't choose an instance type that is not based on your workload. Now, the ask here, what EC2 instance is suitable for data warehousing application? So it's just this one that I've started. You see, this is for data warehousing application. That is the storage optimized instance. So here the answer will be the storage optimized submit, and that is correct. Now, which Amazon EC2 instance has a balanced compute memory and network? So for a balanced, we're talking about what? A general purpose instance, and you submit. Now, which is ideal for high performance databases? Now, for a high performance databases, what will I choose? Will be memory optimized, I think. Let me refer, I might look at that one. High performance should be memory optimized. Let me see. Okay, high performance database. Yes, I got it correct. Correct. So you see, for high performance databases, it has to be memory optimized, and that is correct. And which one is for high performance processor? We're talking about compute optimized for high performance processor, like that. And that should be correct, like that. So that is how you actually get to choose what type of EC2 instance to use for your particular application. I don't know if that makes sense. I think somebody asked this question before earlier, like that. So at this point, I think we're good. And I don't know if you guys have any question. If all is okay, you put one in the chat. If it's not okay, if you have a question, you can ask, and then we can proceed from there. Let's know that we're all working on the same line. All right, great. All right. Okay, well, Patrick, is it coming to what is EC2 really? Now, since we've done the EC2 really, 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 can somebody tell us what is EC2 really? So let's open our chats. Let's open the box. Let's discuss. And see, since we are all done, so we are done for today's session.